The following morning when I woke up, I was stunned when I saw my statistics. Hi, welcome to my channel. The last video I made broke all of my personal YouTube records in terms of number of views, number of comments, number of likes. I was just shocked when I saw that. And a little bit later in this video, I want to go over some of the comments and try to clarify a little bit about the situation over here in terms of commenting on this military operation that's happening right now. But first, please come along with me while I take care of some of my chores. Come on. So we just came back from my cheese cave, and I pulled out a wheel of Colby cheese. Colby cheese, I have Colby cheese, which is in the red wax. The other cheeses there were cheddar in the yellow. Cheddar gets better the longer it sits. Ideally, I think a year is about the best time. Colby, though, is after 3 months it's done, and it doesn't improve with age. It can actually start to get a little bit bitter. So this one here was went in the cave on 7/7/22, so it's been in there for a little better than 3 months. It's a little bit longer than it should have, but let's cut into this and see what it's like. First I have to remove the wax. Usually don't fill. Okay, let's go ahead and cut into this. Looks nice. Looks like cheese. I typically cut it into quarters. Some of it I put in the refrigerator here, and some of it I vacuum seal into bags and put back into the cheese cave. Okay, I'm going to cut myself a little piece here and try it out. It's a little crumbly. It's actually quite good. It's, to me, it's more of a cheddar than a Colby, but it's very good. Well, I'm not going to just sit here eating in front of you. Well, maybe one more. Okay, hi. I told you that later in the video I would sit down and discuss a little bit about the comments and some of my reaction to my last video. So let me go ahead and do that. After I released the video, by the next morning when I woke up, I saw more views on that video than I'd ever received on any video over that short period of time. And more comments, more likes, more everything. So I imagine maybe YouTube may have put this in different people's feeds. Maybe somehow I'm not going to say that I went viral. You know, I think I've got a total of less than 6,000 views, which is still about 60 times my average number of views, but still not some huge amount. I had a multitude of comments. Some were favorable and just nice and kind. Others were pretty critical. But I have to say, I appreciated it, and I have to say, regardless, even the ones that were critical, these were people that, if I wanted to, I could have a debate with. We could have gone back and forth. None of them, with the exception of one person, nobody was just doing the what I call the American trick right away, calling me a racist, homophobe, everything phobe, if they disagree with something I said. Now, it isn't that I said anything that people were disagreeing, it was that I didn't really say anything that some people were upset about. And one person, maybe more than one, accused me. They said, you use kind of a clickbaity title to get people to watch it, and then when they watched it, all you said is you can't talk about mobilization. And you know, I'm going to say that I did not purposely use a clickbaity title. Just on my channel, I'll tell about my life after this event, or my life after that event. My life after Russian sanctions was one. This one was my life after mobilization. And it's just actually describing my life, because typically I have 100 views, and many of these are people I know, friends, family. So I'm just explaining what's happening with me over here. So it wasn't meant, the title, I can definitely see where somebody could look at that and say, that was clickbaity because you didn't really talk about your life in relation to mobilization. You're right, I didn't, because that wasn't going to be my purpose. It was just following the same pattern of naming that I had used in the past. So it's not that I'm totally against some clickbait title, where it's a situation like this, where it's life and death and people are dying. I would never use something as clickbait to get views. I mean, for God's sakes, look at all my past views on my video. They're very minor. I'm certainly not somebody who's living high off the hog. I'm not monetized. I don't believe I ever will be, and I don't care. But anyhow, I apologize if it seemed clickbaity. It wasn't intended to, and I didn't mean to give that impression. Anyhow, I said I wanted just to explain a little bit. People, Russian citizens or people living in Russia, you really are not allowed to talk about this, because about this situation going on with Ukraine. We have to refer to it as a special military operation. And if you do say something that they have very vague laws that they passed here, like insulting the Russian army. So and these can involve prison terms up to 15 years. They involve the fine. So many people have been fined, and it's for here it's a lot of money. It's about $500 fine. That's about the average person's monthly pay or more. When you're sitting somewhere else, perhaps in another country, it's hard to understand this. I'm here not because of I didn't run away from America or run to be Russian. I came here because of my wife, and I have a wife and I have daughters here, and at this point in time, I want us all to be together. It is impossible for us right now to leave Russia and go to America. Can I? Yes, I can. But do I want to leave my wife and my daughters just to fend for themselves? Would you? I don't think so. So it's not a choice thing right now. And if I'm lucky, I would just get deported. But that still, it splits me up from my family. And I can't say, oh, okay, well, don't worry, I'll send for you. No, that's not going to work. So just understand that portion. I have definite views on all of these subjects, and you don't know them because I'm not expressing them. But on the back of the events that are going on right now with all the death and displacement and destruction, no, I would never use a video as clickbait to try to get more views. What do I care? I don't care. So I don't care about getting more views. If you want to watch, fine. If you don't, fine. I don't get any money. It costs me money for my equipment and stuff. I don't earn anything on YouTube. But anyhow, I want to just summarize part of that by just saying I do welcome the comments and thank you for the comments. I don't agree with all of them, and that's fine. I was really shocked and surprised to see that most people could still make a comment, have an opposite opinion, and we could go back and forth a little bit. In some cases I did, and not hate each other, not resort to name calling. And I appreciate that. It gives me some hope for America in this case, because it's typically Americans who are commenting. I had like a couple comments I wanted to say something about. One of them, I'm not going to give any names or put it up on the board so you can read the comments even with the name blacked out, because as I said, I appreciate your comments and thank you. But I was being kind of lambasted for showing my life here. I try to show that I live here and I just have kind of a normal life here, is what I kind of have. And the other person was kind of offended that I could do that when people in Ukraine are dying, or there's missiles going off, or no heat and everything else. And I don't know how to say this, because no matter how I say it, it's going to come across callous, and it isn't callous. But the person who wrote the comment flicked their light switch and the lights came on, turned up the thermostat and the heat came on, opened the refrigerator, they had food in the refrigerator, and they didn't feel guilty or feel like they were sinning against humanity by doing that. But I'm supposed to, because I happen to be living in Russia when this is all happening. Or my neighbors are supposed to feel that way because they also were born here and live here. I'm not going to discuss the percentage of people that are for or against what's going on. I wouldn't know that I would believe any figures if I heard them. But by me showing something in my daily life, it isn't showing it off and it's rubbing it in somebody's face who's less fortunate. I mean, good God, I'd never be able to talk about anything if I had to worry about maybe somebody else doesn't have this. Okay, I'm just showing people my life in Russia. I'm an American, I live in Russia, I'm showing you my life. That's all. No offense meant to anybody else. I did get another comment though. It was in response. Somebody said somebody asked, why are you in Russia? Why would you want to live there? You must be crazy, etc., etc. And yeah, you could point to this point right now in time and say, you must be crazy for living in Russia. And maybe sometimes I doubt my own sanity, but I think I explained a little bit earlier, I can leave Russia, but my family cannot all leave Russia. So I would be abandoning them here, abandoning them to whatever happens. And that's not the way I was raised. But this person decided, I didn't answer that particular comment, but somebody else decided to answer it. Let me put on my nerd glasses. These are I've got different reading glasses in different rooms, and these are whatever, it doesn't matter. The question was like, why are you in Russia? Why would you stay there? You must be crazy. Whatever, I don't remember. And this other person said, because he can't make it in America. Living in a poorer country among much poorer people makes him believe he is living like a king without basic freedoms. There you go. Somebody who's never met me, they know all my reasons for being here. It's because I couldn't make it in America. Well, I lived there till I was 45. I seemed to make it pretty good. And just a little parenthetical point I want to make here. It's a hell of a lot harder to make it in Russia than it is to make it in America. At this point right now, you have millions, multiple millions of illegal, illiterate, many times diseased, and many times criminal aliens pouring across your border. And you're telling me all those people, what do they have to do to make it in America? They step across the other side. They're given a thing to appear in court in 5-10 years and they never come. They go on welfare, etc., etc. They get the Social Security money that your mom and dad or your grandparents should be getting instead of living like crap. So I understand how hard it is to make it in America. It's not hard. Somebody comes to Russia. There's no welfare. There's no job that somebody owes you. The government doesn't take you because they want to change their population and treat you better than the native population that's there. It doesn't happen. I came to Russia. I did not speak the language. Because I didn't speak the language, I couldn't even really continue in my field that I was in America. But I made it in Russia. I made it, and in order to make it here, you have to be smart, on your feet. You got to be thinking all the time. And it also helps if you have a bubbling personality like mine. But anyhow, I made it in Russia. I made it in America. And I didn't make it here to live like a king amongst poor people. In the town or city where I am, there are all different neighborhoods in the part of the city where I am. Starting nearest, like the school and stuff, are the biggest houses, the nicest ones. Well, to give you an idea, I live in the furthest neighborhood away from there. I live in the last neighborhood. It's not poor people. It's middle class people. And I don't live like a king amongst them. I live like they live. That's how. So when somebody makes a comment like that, I should never let people know things that get under my skin. So don't give me that pile of crap, big pile of steaming crap. I'm really not interested in hearing it. I have to be careful about what I said. You notice right now, you didn't hear any criticism about Russian government or anything, but yet you heard criticism about the way some of the things are done in America right now. It's because I can criticize the way things are done in America. I can't criticize the way things are done here. I've been gone from America for a long time, like 21 years. And I reflect how people thought, and many, and how people spoke and how people acted at that point in time, because I don't watch American movies and everything so I can just continue changing. So what you're actually looking at, a dinosaur, a caveman. So now I'm really caveman-like. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm not expecting to see 5,000-6,000 views this time, but I want to thank all my regular viewers, and hopefully some of the new people that watch will watch a couple more. So, bye-bye from Russia. Пока.